Okay, this is a tutorial on how to get your own fonts into Game Guru. This is a level I've been working on for some time now. It's the opening level to my game Extraction Point. I'm hoping to release this, at least as a beta, very shortly. I'm just going to stand up. I'm running a custom HUD here, controlled by a Lua script, and I like almost everything about it, apart from the numerals used to show your health. I don't like the font used. I've had to colour them orange so I know which ones I'm working with, but this tutorial will show you how to swap out any font file within Game Guru and put in something that's a little bit more befitting for your game. So the first thing I'm actually going to do is jump out of Game Guru altogether and shut Game Guru down. Okay, so here we are in the Game Guru root folder. If I go into Files, there's a folder called Font Bank, and within that folder there's a series of different files which are basically all of the fonts that Game Guru uses. You can see two different types of file. There's some PNG files here which contain all of the characters in various different sizes. You can see they're denoted there as 25 pix, 36 pix, 72 pix. That's the one we're going to be working on today. And then alongside those files there's also some .fnt files. Now you can open those in Notepad. Let me just show you what one of those looks like. It's basically a series of numbers with a load of colons in. We'll get onto what those mean in a second. So the way fonts work in Game Guru is a bit different to how it would work anywhere else on your computer, where you might install a font file, like a true type file or something. Game Guru uses tile sets. So this is a single texture that Game Guru is able to divide up into the separate characters that make up the alphabet, and the FNT file tells Game Guru what sections of this texture correspond to what character, be that a number, a letter or punctuation. So what we're looking for is a program that can create our own tile sets and also produce an FNT file that tells Game Guru all the necessary information. So if you go to angelcode.com, you'll find the bitmap font generator, which I've helpfully downloaded already, otherwise known as BM Font. Now BM Font creates these tile sets and the FNT files, although the FNT files are slightly different to the way Game Guru needs them to be, so there needs to be a little bit of editing. We'll go into that in a second. So I've opened Bitmap Font Generator, and as you can see, some of the characters have already loaded up. It's actually already loaded in the font that I was using last, the one I want to use. If I go to Options and Font Settings, you can start playing around with whatever font you want. I'm interested in using Curvo Light, but it will search your font folder and you can load basically any font file that you have on your computer. And using the checkbox on the right hand side, you can select additional characters that you might want included. Curvo doesn't support these characters, that's why there's a load of kind of greyed out boxes here, but the ones it does support, it has already subbed in. So in font settings, as I say, you can set the size. So for instance, if you wanted to create a 36 pixel high font, you could do that. You can make it bold, italic, you can start adding outlines around things. So yeah, that controls basically the font itself. The export settings control how the characters are laid out on that tile. So for instance, you can select different spacing between each character. I've just left that as 1 each, and you can also change the size of the texture. Now this is something that you will need to keep coming back and doing. So for example, we just set it as what do we say, 36. So I think a 680 by 680 texture will probably be a little bit big, but we can find out. If we go to Visualize, it will actually lay out all of the characters on a 680 by 680 square, and you can see all that red space is just, well, dead space. It's unnecessary space. We could export this, but it's a bit wasteful. We don't need a tile set this big with all that unused space. So for a 36 pixel, a 36 type font, you might want to change that down to, let's say, 400. I'll just show you what that looks like. And if I visualize that, see, it's squeezed more of the characters in. And basically what we're looking to do is squeeze in as many characters as we can into one image. If you make this too small, it will break those up and create two images. That's no good for Game Guru. Game Guru can't handle two tile sets for one font. So if you try and do that, you see it's come up with preview 1 of 2, and I can go right and left to show you the two different tile sets it will create. So that's too small, basically. Anyway, we're not interested in the 32 pix font, we want the 72. So I'm just going to pop that in now, and of course if we visualize it, you can see the characters are much bigger, but BM Font has to break it up over 6 different tile sets. So I'm just going to go into the export settings and type in what I think is the right size for this tile set. I'm going to go with 680. There's also some options down here for how you might want to export the file. So ideally we would want a white text with alpha, although in my experience, even though you select this, it has never worked at all. So you will just get a black and white image, and you'll need to add your own alpha channel. Not sure why that doesn't work, but I just have never had it work for me. If I now visualize that with a 680 by 680 image, you can see we've squeezed in all of the characters of the alphabet, including some special characters as well, different accents and things, and various punctuation marks as well. So that's pretty much ready to go. So we can export that. So I'm going to save the bitmap font as, and you can see within the font bank I created my own folder called Curvo Light. I think I'll just save over the top of this 72 one that I did earlier. Okay, so that's now saved. If I go back into the font bank, you can see it's created 2 different files here. I think just to clean things up, I'm going to get rid of these old ones that I did, these test ones. So BM Font has created 2 files. We've got a PNG file, which has a very interesting file name, and we've also got an FNT file. And if you look at the FNT file, it contains more than just numbers and colons. It contains a lot of superfluous information. Now we need to get rid of that, but the first thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to clean up that PNG. I'm doing this in PaintShop Pro 5, which is, well, it's now 20 years old, this bit of software, but it's very easy to use. I won't go through creating alpha channels, and you can just watch and learn, but I imagine most people will be doing this in Photoshop. It's just yeah, just people like me who are a bit stuck in the past that use software like this. So let me just save that. Okay, so I've now created a tile set. You can see this now has an alpha channel. The background shows through. So this is now ready to be used within Game Guru. So I'm first of all going to copy both of these files and pop them in the font bank. And I'm now going to rename the PNG file to that of the 72 pix font. So I'm going to click the 72 pix font, press F2, Control A, Control C to select the file name, and I'm going to delete that file because I don't need it anymore. And then I'm going to select the one that we generated, F2, Control A, Control V, paste it back in. Okay, Game Guru will now read that as the tile set for the 72 pix font. However, we still need to work on the FNT file. So again, I'm going to rename that. So here's the original. I'm going to F2, Control A, Control C, just to grab the file name. I'll delete that. And then select R1 and F2, Control A, Control V. And there we are. So if I open up one that I haven't edited. So these FNT files, as I say, they contain numbers and colons. And we need to basically adapt the FNT file that we've been given. Let's just put these side by side so you can see the difference. Okay, so that's one that Game Guru needs, and that's one that we have created. So basically we need to get rid of all the superfluous information. So that starts by deleting the top 5 lines, and then I'm also going to scroll down because there's normally some stuff to do with kerning. Yep, here it is. And I'm going to delete all of this. Game Guru has no reason to use any of this information, so I can get rid of it all. And then what we're going to do is use the replace function, the find and replace function within Notepad to get rid of the information we don't need. So I'm going to make sure I click the very start of the document, and then I'm going to go to Edit, Replace. So the first field is character ID, or char id equals. If I replace that with nothing, it will delete every instance of char id equals. So if if I replace all, you can see it's gotten rid of all of that, and we've ended up with just a load of numbers down the side. Now these numbers correspond to the characters within the alphabet. If I now go along and do find x equals, I can replace it with a colon. So if I replace all of those, we've now ended up with a number and a colon. And now I can do the same thing for things like y equals, replace all. I can do it for width equals as well. And basically I'm just going to go through and replace these sort of unwanted fields with just colons. You don't need to worry too much about the spaces between the numbers because Game Guru ignores them. As far as it's concerned, these two files basically look the same. It's number, number, etc. And in R1 it's now number, number. Now the only thing is you've got this stuff at the end, the x offset equals and y offset equals. When I first did this, I painstakingly went through and deleted every single one of those lines because I thought it might mess things up. Turns out Game Guru doesn't need it and it just ignores it. So you don't actually need to get rid of them at all. You can just leave it as is. Now once you've saved that file, your font is now ready to use within Game Guru. Okay, so to test this out, I'm now going to dive back into Game Guru and fire up my level again. It's very important you do this while Game Guru is closed. You can't expect to do this with Game Guru open and then just boot test game and have it work, because Game Guru caches the fonts and the textures used. You need to, as I say, completely restart Game Guru and jump back into your level and back into test game. So that's what we're going to do next. Okay, so here we are back in Game Guru. I've reloaded Extraction Point and I'm just going to stand up now, and when the health HUD comes in, yep, you can see the font has changed to the one that we created. So this method works for any font within Game Guru. Yeah, just create the tile set and the FNT file and you should be good to go. So that's the end of the tutorial. Please do look out for Extraction Point. There will be a link in the showcase board very shortly, and I think I'll also post one in the work in progress thread that I've been maintaining for, well, over a year now. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you soon.